That was our intro, you guys. You're supposed to join me in that. Thanks.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh.
Due to ping, that wasn't happening.
Ping my ass.
Can I use that excuse too?
You do what you want anyway, so.
I do what I want.
So, welcome.
Joe, you don't have a picture.
I don't.
You don't have a
I can
picture.
fix that. Hang
So
on.
this is the first Gamefixt podcast. Woo! We talk about shit.
Yay.
Drink beer, and I guess I don't have beer. I have cream soda.
That's no problem.
Anyway, we really have no plan. We're just gonna talk about video games and shit.
Alright, sounds good.
Fair enough.
So with me,
Good.
with me from left to right on the stream here is Jeff Wheaton. He's from the YouTube team. Wheaton!
You know, surprisingly, I do not get asked about that a lot. Like, I imagine everyone would be like, "Are you related to Will Wheaton?" Nope, doesn't happen.
I'm rated to Will Wheaton with 2 L's.
Yep.
Not the same person. Anyway, after that, we got Joe Lewis, senior editor and also co-founder, I guess, of Gamefixt because he helped me start it up.
Hello.
Then we got.
I just waved like anyone could fucking see me.
I'll wait for you. There we go.
There we go. All right.
Then we got Ryan, aka Sunbro. Okay.
Hello.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
And then, as always, Sarah Lewis.
Hi.
So, then we got Sean in the chat. Like a chump.
And then Clyde is our one watcher.
Clyde is... I think he just kind of idles on every single stream. And then just doesn't ever watch any of them. Because he's always on my stream, but he never talks. So he's one of those quiet types.
Aw, can we adopt him?
Sure.
You will be named Sparky, and you will do the greatest of things.
Who are you? Apparently have no more room. We don't have enough room. I mean, we have too much room. That's it. That's it. Okay, so Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out on Tuesday.
Yes.
I will not be getting it.
Jeff will not be getting it. Breaking news.
That is breaking news.
Do you just not like care about it at all, or are you gonna decide? Are you waiting, or?
I have $10 in my account.
Oh, okay. So it's more of a you didn't have.
I don't have funds.
You
He's
don't have the
in my
choice.
situation.
Well,
So,
yeah, it's already picked up a lot of steam. It's probably, I think personally.
but Steam hasn't picked it up.
I see what you did there. But I personally think that it's probably one of the. It's probably going to be a huge one. It's probably, I think, Rockstar's biggest effort so far.
Well, yeah, they're switching to a weapon wheel. That's a big change if you think about it.
Well, yeah.
It's just the weapon wheel. That's the only thing changing.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, they're changing a lot of stuff with it. It's a bold move by them.
They are. It actually looks really different. I'm waiting just because, we've got the next gen coming, and
Yeah,
I've
that's
also got Saints Row 4 still. So, and Saints Row has always been the game where I'm like, well, it's like if they took GTA and made it fun. So,
They took out all the limitations of telling you, don't do this, don't do that, and then...
It's like superpowers.
yeah. Well, even before that, it was oh well, you like that car, you can keep it, it's yours.
You want to change it in a certain way? Go ahead.
Well,
yeah.
I think that the two games do cater to two different kinds of audiences because in the past few years, Grand Theft Auto has gotten a lot more serious than it used to be. Especially when you think about how it used to be as far back as Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto 2. Those were just like very cartoonish and over the top, whereas in Grand Theft Auto 4, even as far back as 3 and San Andreas and Vice City, they have gotten a lot more serious. And I think that it's more for like it is a mature. They're both mature games ratings wise, but I think that people who want more of a dramatic sort of feel are going for
Like
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, like a TV series type deal.
Yeah. But
That's understandable.
I don't know. I think that honestly, when looking at the differences between Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5, to me, it looks like almost a completely different game. From what they've done, it looks like the gameplay is completely different and overhauled. And I think they borrowed some elements from Red Dead Redemption.
They definitely did, yeah.
Which is a smart move.
Like, if I remember correctly, they borrowed a lot of the multiplayer aspects for it from Red Dead. And I'm just gonna stop playing with stuff on my desk before I get distracted. And they borrowed, a lot of the graphic overhaul from it as well.
Which, I mean, it looks like a beautiful game. But the thing is, though, like you said, there is, we have the next generation coming out like in the next few months, and I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is kind of a hard sell, because I think a lot of people are really just holding out for next gen because they don't really feel the need to buy a current gen game when they're saving up for these next gen consoles, especially when there's a lot of speculation that Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to find its way to the next gen consoles anyway.
Well, it should come to the PC. Like, I don't think they realize just how much of a market share that PC has for it because of the mod community.
There is a thing I wanted to talk about with that is, a lot of people I know they're not holding out for GTA 5 for next gen consoles. They're holding out for PC. Now, we've known for every other previous Grand Theft Auto game has ended up on PC like 2 years later.
Right.
Do you think it's smart to hold out for it on a PC, or do you think people should get it now while it's the swan song or the 360 and PS3?
Well, I don't know if I don't know if it really matters either way, because even if you were planning on getting it on PC anyway, and you just want to play it on a console to hold you over, then that option is still there. So I don't know that there's really a consequence for going one way or the other.
Yeah.
And plus, it really depends what kind of gamer you are. I know plenty of people who only want to play stuff on PC, so they wouldn't mind waiting.
Very true. Very true.
By the way, those of you in chat, you're welcome to join us in this conversation. We'll totally bring your thoughts and ideas into this chat as well.
Exactly. I'm sitting here watching it. I have it on my screen, so.
Make sure you pass those along to those of us who can't see it, so we can address them as well.
That convo, Lewis.
What convo? The convo that's going on. You guys can hear the Skype call, right? If you can't, then tell me, because this is just, it's...
Joe got a picture.
Yay.
There it goes. There we
Whoa,
go.
whoa.
All right.
We've just entered the Joe zone.
That sounds terrifying.
I've been to the Church of Joe.
It looks a little terrifying.
So,
I've been to the Church of Joe. I know what's going on.
So I'm really curious, because I've been hearing you guys talk a lot. Those of you who have been playing it, I've been hearing a lot of talk about your experiences with Final Fantasy XIV as of late with everything that they did with it, and I haven't played a Final Fantasy Online game since 11, and that was a good 4 years ago. So I'm really curious as to what makes it so great, honestly.
Joe?
So, I actually played the first version of it, and it's, first off, it's a huge improvement. There were a lot of problems when the game first launched. Like, it was so bad that they were like, well, we're just not going to charge you guys money for this. And it was for almost like a year that they just weren't charging subscription fees, because they're like, yeah, okay, we know it's really...
Yeah, I heard they, from what I understand, they had a pretty disastrous launch with that game.
Oh.
So, yeah, I started playing it, and I had no idea, what I was even doing. They didn't really give you very much guidance at all. They were just kind of like, well, here you go. The tutorials were really terrible. The interface was horrible. They used kind of the same sort of menu-based interface from a console Final Fantasy game. But it was an MMO, so everything just took forever to do, and they wanted to have this big wide open zoneless world, and they had it, but it was almost completely unpopulated and devoid of life. There was just nothing. There was just like these wide, empty expanses of just really repetitive terrain, and it was really bad. And I'll be talking about this in the piece I'm working on right now.
The maps were just god awful. It was almost like a roguelike.
They were very obviously, they had like kind of a terrain generation program where they were using to build their maps, and it was very obviously using a tile set of some sort, and they were pretty large tiles. So you could very obviously kind of say, oh, that's just this part, like rotated 90 degrees to the right. And someone actually, on the team had to have looked at that and said, beautiful, and just put it live. So the dude that was in charge of that whole fiasco left. Not only the project but the company. Wow. So then they spent a bunch of time on kind of reworking it and relaunched it, and now it's got it's much cleaner feel. They do a really great job of explaining everything to you to get you started. Kind of running around the world, and it really kind of does feel like a good Final Fantasy game. There's a storyline that you play through. It's got a lot of the same sort of feeling of exploration that I got kind of from when I first started with MMOs, with like EverQuest. Like there's a lot of it has kind of some of that like more like hardcore sort of MMO feel that EverQuest had, but with a lot of like the quality of life improvements that World of Warcraft and games like that brought to the genre. So you've got like the dungeon finder, and you've got that sort of thing kind of built in to the game right from the get-go. But then there's also a lot of stuff that you can do that doesn't even touch like the end game rating situation.
Well, I one of the things that I had run into a lot with Final Fantasy XI was because a large part of the leveling in the game was really dependent on whether or not you could find a group to just grind mobs with. But a lot of the time, because of how the game was set up, you'd find yourself looking for a group for upwards of an hour. So you mentioned that they have a dungeon finder system now. So is it more streamlined? Are you finding groups more quickly?
Yeah. So I mean, it still uses they're 4-person groups, and so you have a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS instead of you're like kind of like 5-person groups. That some of the more modern games are using. And you just queue up for the stuff that you want to do, and you can even queue up for earlier stuff, and it'll just sync your level down to that level range.
That's definitely a queue. I think it might have taken from DC Universe Online, because I've never actually dealt with with like a queue, like a matchmaking queue in MMOs until I actually played DCUO, and it almost fits that to a T.
Yeah, it's a really good system though. I have to admit.
Yeah, they have the kind of like the looking for group sort of tool now in World of Warcraft as well. So a lot of games are using it, and it's it definitely makes it you can kind of queue up for something and then go out and do your do your thing. And they have kind of like a dynamic event sort of system, kind of like from
Guild Wars
like
2.
Rift or Guild Wars 2 or some of those things. So you can go out and take part in those, and depending on how well you contribute to that, you'll get experience and like gold and stuff. It has kind of given rise to there some interesting sort of player behavior though, where you'll see it at the higher levels. There's kind of this phenomenon that these people figured out that mathematically, you can just grind these fates, and what you do is you just there's like these guys you have to kill in the back of an area, and mobs that run in that you have to kind of fight off as you try and kill those other guys, but they come out from a completely different area, and you can just sit there and grind out killing those. They just spawn continually, and if you never kill the guys in the back, it'll, you'll keep doing that for like 15 minutes, and then they just send someone back to kill them real quick, while they hold everything off, and so that's not really exactly how they were really meant to be used.
You can get like a subclass, like if you have your main class like 30, level 30, you can get like a subclass from 1 to 15 in maybe about like 4 to 6 hours just from fake grinding.
But that's a huge improvement from what I remember playing Final Fantasy 11, because grinding any class, it was, in my experience, it was like something that took like weeks, just because of like
bad.
Yeah.
Like I've kind of really been playing like I've really been kind of just playing sort of semi-casually. We've been trying to like get everything ready for the new kid and all that. So I just kind of have not had a whole lot of time for that, and then plus also I've got to kind of mix in that with like making sure I'm still like practicing and playing on ladder. And I'm already like right around level 40 with my Dragoon, so it's not that bad. I know the end game is really kind of hardcore. If you do like the hardcore rating, and they're adding even more of that. Like they're like hard. You get into like hard mode primals, which are like these 8-person fights.
Your mom is thunderous, Sean. Sorry.
They did get rid of. Originally had like this sort of like fatigue system, where the longer you played, the less experience you would get, and so they were like, well, we'll discourage people from playing so much that they fucking die.
Yeah.
And everybody hated it to the point where they actually took it out.
So you mentioned that they had the fatigue system, as well as you said you were playing semi-casually. So if someone is a more casual gamer but they want to get into it, is it like, are you kind of like worried about being left behind, or is it fairly easy to keep up?
It's fairly easy to keep up, I think.
It's kind of hard to tell because we're still at kind of the the very beginning of that sort of cycle, so it really is kind of hard to tell. Like I'm in a pretty active, I guess they're called free companies, but a fairly active guild, and so I know that they've got actually some players that are pretty serious like about the end game stuff, and since it's all mostly like 8-man stuff, you can have your group go through it, and they just kind of keep queuing up for it. And so, they're pretty high up there, but as I'm getting up towards that other end, I also still see other people saying like, "Hey, we're gonna go do this other thing," or "Hey, does anyone want to help out with us doing this thing?" So it also may really depend on, what the guild or group that you are with is actually doing. But it really it's like,
that's cool.
Who knows how long it'll take them to like burn through that, and then if they're really that hardcore, you always have that like hardcore raider cycle of really intense raiding, and then burn out for like a month or 2 or 3, and then the new patch comes out, and then ramping up to really intense raiding, and then burn out.
It's basically like the typical MMO cycle, like.
Yes. Yeah. Well, especially with like if you have like a high-end raiding guild, like I was in like a really hard, like the last like really like hardcore raiding guild I was in was actually EQ, just because that it is life devouring.
Yeah.
It's and something that Joe in the chat just brought up, how much grinding is involved in spell learning. There really is none, because when you get your levels is when you get your new spells. I mean, I haven't played any of the spellcaster, the Disciples of Magic.
Much. You just get those abilities, and you don't even have to go to a trainer, except for at certain levels for classes you get like a class quest, and that will usually award you either like a skill or some pretty significant equipment upgrade, or both. And then you get up to around like 45 and you start getting like the artifact, sort of like iconic looking armor for your class.
Yep.
Although you don't get a chest piece for till 50, so
you'll have all those looking. Yeah, I hope you can see like dragoons just wandering around Eorzea with like they're clad black, Kane Highwind type armor, and then this really shitty looking chest piece because they haven't reached 50 yet. It's like one of these things is not like the others.
It's usually like that, like just like that leather strap that across the chest. Like, this is the best armor I could find. Womp womp. Like,
when you're level 50, the best armor that they offer you is the most scantily clad ones.
Sweet.
Sounds like Final Fantasy to me.
Yeah.
That sounds actually pretty par for the course of Final Fantasy, I think.
No, I was actually overemphasizing. There's some pretty good stuff. I got some really nice armor right now at 30.
I've actually the looks of most of it. I mean, like so female dragoons, they do have like the midriff bear thing, but most of the other classes aren't as bad. Like there's still a lot of heavy armor use and here I'm looking for trying to find like exactly. There's one I have in mind.
So the Final Fantasy 14 version of the Tarutaru, the Lalafels, I got to see one yesterday that was wearing dragoon armor, and I think I nearly died from laughing because it was just the most ridiculously adorable thing in the world. Because they're like these little, like, maybe 2 feet tall creatures with, big heads and like tiny feet that look just absolutely adorable, and it's wearing this clad black dragoon armor like it's some badass, but it's so tiny you can't take it seriously.
Well, that's the great thing about Tarutaru is that anything they do is adorable. So
I mean, they even brought the amazingly adorable panic dance back from Final Fantasy 11 into 14. They're like, and it's the most adorable thing in the world. And he's like, "Oh, you're so cute, but you're panicking." You just want to pat them on the head.
I don't know
but you're panicking.
If the emote isn't air quotes, I don't know that I can bring myself to care about it, because that's the best. Like, that is the best like animated emoticon that they could have ever possibly added, because I'm like, awesome, now I finally have an in-game avatar that can express the same level of sarcastic disdain that I do in real life.
Just be as smug as you want in the digital realm.
I'm so happy about it. Like, oh, congratulations on your great healing.
I've been much more sarcastic with my emotes in Final Fantasy 14 than I have in any other MMO. Like, I'll see just like the most ridiculous looking things. Like some people's minions, they have like this little. There's a minion like a vanity pet. It's just this little tiny brick, this little white brick with wings on it and feet, and it's called the demon brick. It's so stupid looking, and so whenever I see one, I usually like highlight it and then just do a type laugh, and just my character just laughs out loud at it. It's just so adorable.
This is why I love Squeenix sometimes. They just get bored.
I think I have like 15 vanity pets now. Vanity minions.
Did you do your what is the festival they're doing right now? They're doing some in-game festival right now.
So there's a it's like a sunlight festival or something like that. Hold on, let me look it up real fast. I've meant to do a post about it, but I fucked up and forgot.
Yeah, womp womp. I should have too. It's it's like some like midsummer festival where basically you and you can get them anytime. Like these fates are not new fates that they added. They're where you have to kill
Moonfire
all
Fair.
of the Moonfire Fair, where this
bombs.
big giant bomb comes up and you, as a reward, instead of like usually you get like a bunch of money, they're like, oh, and here's like this wet bomb ash, and you're like, oh hey, great, thanks.
Well, you still get some experience too.
Yeah, you do, but you also it's like, here's a packet of wet ash, which sounds just like horrible, and nobody really knew what they were for. And there were posts from people like, I had like
wet ash is really close to saying wet ass. I'm just saying.
Big difference.
But yeah, you trade them in, and then you get swimsuits.
You guys were saying wet ass.
No, ASH.
You
get some wet ass.
You get like swimsuits, and to be fair, both the male and the females are equally, pretty much almost equally
bad,
revealing. So,
well, guys can also get trunks, but most of the people that I've seen trade them in get the banana hammocks.
Yeah, so
Speedos.
You get like the like the little Lalafels running around with like that one like tank weapon that looks like a big paddle.
Yep.
And then they're wearing like the Speedos and then like a Sublagar or something, and they're just like running around the town with it.
I feel like I need to play this game.
I wish I had
put
screenshots
the
for you people, just so you could see some of this ridiculousness that we're talking
I'm
about.
looking for one right now, actually, and I was gonna link it to you because it's ridiculous. Yeah, so I guess that's what 2 games now where I've been like, hey, let me explain to you the most ridiculous possible situation you would find in this game, and that's why you should buy it.
Yeah. Well, I think some people really go for they look for that sort of thing in some games, so I think that would be a buying point for some people.
I'm
Yes,
really
for me.
just looking for unique experiences that I can add to my life's list.
Exactly.
I always love over-the-top ridiculous parts of games. That's why I love Saints Row 4 so much, because it's just
Exactly.
non-stop over-the-top.
It's just the whole game like all the time, so it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The
Saints
only
Row 3
real,
really did that too.
yeah, the only real bad part about Final Fantasy XIV right now that I'm dealing with, aside the server issues that they've been having, aside the queue system and whatnot, is the spam. There's already gold farmers. There's already guild farmers.
But you're
and
gonna have that with any MMO.
Yeah, that's a necessary
It's-
evil.
the thing is about most other MMOs, Ion, DCUO, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, you'll get those spammers, but they won't be able to continuously post their thing. They can just if they post it twice too fast, it'll tell them they can't post it again for another 30 minutes. In Final Fantasy XIV, there's no limit to how often they can repeat the same thing over and over. So you get into a major town, you're part of a free company, you're part of a link shell, and you got chats going on, you got people talking in the shout, and then suddenly just spam, spam,
So
spam,
kinda
spam,
like Phantasy
spam.
Star.
It's
pretty bad.
I've seen the Phantasy Star Online spam, and I think this is worse.
Really?
And there's no
It's-
right click block, no right click block in report, no right click in blacklist. You have to wait until the game loads, because you got the chat going while you're still loading the area.
Oh, jeez.
You have to wait till the game loads, then go into the menu, click on blacklist or type /B list, and then you have to input their name. Which, in order to really get their name with as fast as they're spamming, is click their name, get the do a /tell, so it copies their name to your chat, and then type it in, and then do it again for the next one, the next one, and the next one. It can take you about 5 minutes.
It's surprising that they don't have anything in place to address that already. It seems like it's a pretty standard thing.
It is kind of crazy that that they just don't have anything in place right now. They have said they've been actually since the launch of the game, because there were some pretty serious server problems for the first week. I mean, it obviously wasn't so bad that I wasn't able to get to almost max level as fast as I was but it was pretty bad, and it was made kind of worse by the fact that you would have people that did log in just not ever logging out, because they were like, well, if I don't log out, I may not be able to get back in. So
Exactly.
everything was constantly full, and there was no AFK timeout. After they did a pretty quick upgrade to their data center, considering how I work in using server. I do server stuff, and I know how long it can sometimes take to deploy a bunch of servers and get everything ready to go. And for the amount of work they did, it was actually a pretty quick turnaround time. Now, that's not to say that they shouldn't have maybe had a better plan in place than, well, we think we can support maybe 250,000 people.
EA tried that, remember?
Yeah. So
God, that was a train wreck.
it really kind of was it really kind of was surprising that they weren't a bit more prepared for it, but they did compensate everyone for the time, and I have not had a single problem logging in since, and I'm on Gilgamesh, which is one of the most overpopulated servers from the get-go.
Balmung as well.
Yeah, because on my server we've got the guys from the Fires of Heaven message boards. We've got Reddit has a bunch of free companies on there because it was so full. that they filled up a few free companies to the max. So there's just there's a lot of people. And I've been able to log in whenever I want to play, and maybe I'll have a queue of maybe like 30 seconds or so. Seems to be
it's like 10 people in queue. Oh, queue's over. Yeah. I mean, all the people who played 1.0 got tossed, from all the different servers. So all the different people who had played it got tossed on to 4 servers, split between 4 servers. And I guess most of them ended up on Balmung, where I am. So it's just constantly full.
I had a
Hi, Helios. Go ahead.
Switching gears, I've been talking to a few people because we were talking about the advent of the next generation coming out, and something that we had addressed on the site fairly recently is the delayed launch of the PS4 in Japan. Now, a lot of people, I think, are actually worried that that also speaks to a possible delay of the console in America. I kind of don't think that's the case, but then again, I'm basing what I'm thinking on the corporate line that we've been fed on the matter.
Well, that was a huge change of gears right there.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
curveball.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Honestly, I don't think it'll probably be delayed here. They're just doing it so they can make the most possible money in America before releasing it in Japan.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the whole thing.
Christmas is a lot bigger in America than it is in Japan. Having lived out there, I can definitely say that with clarity, because I was out there for Christmas time, and like they didn't even do Halloween as much as we do here. But Christmas time, especially Black Friday and whatnot, it's insane out here, and that's where they will make the most money.
Yeah, I mean that is I mean that's true. I mean, when I was in being there in Japan, I mean during Christmas time, I mean it's not that big a thing, but at the same time, I think that the fears are founded based on the delays that we've seen with previous consoles, like with the 360 and the PS4. So I think that a lot of people are just scared that the delay is going to happen anyway, regardless of what we've been told about the situation.
No, I don't think it will be.
I don't really know that we've really seen much evidence to really imply that that's a thing to worry about.
People are going to be afraid about everything ever.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid about the launch day.
I mean, that just kind of... Yeah. I'd be more concerned about, are we going to have any, unforeseen hardware issues or something like that before I'd start worrying about maybe some sort of, a cover-up or anything when there hasn't really been much indication that anything isn't really kind of...
Exactly.
Now, Joe T, Gamer Joe, are you saying that the PS4 couldn't run at 30 frames a second at 1080p or the Xbox One?
It looks like he's saying Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if he has a what's the word I'm thinking of? A source for that? That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's been on IGN and Kotaku. I'm actually over IGN right now. But yes, there is something about, to tie back into Final Fantasy XIV with how players will get that transfer to PS3 players will get that free transfer to PS4. And that it won't be coming out in there till 2014. I wonder if that has to do with the Japanese also not getting the console until 2014 because they know they have a huge market for the game over there, and if Americans are going to be playing it before them, then why should I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around it myself. I'm wondering if if they're going to have Final Fantasy XIV as a launch title for the Japanese PS4s.
That'd be smart.
Well, I mean, I think it makes the most sense, honestly.
Yeah.
I swear, if they get a special Final Fantasy XIV PlayStation 4 console, special edition, I'm gonna flip a table.
Well, think about how
everyone.
Fire everyone from Gamefixt.
Got stuff that we didn't get, though. I mean, so it seems like a pretty huge possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a video.
So.
Well, I found a link for it, but it's a video only. It's not actually a...
He put a link up just now.
Oh, well, there we go. Go Joe!
Something about the. I like the top pick, Thunderdome,
Yeah.
from Burning Man. Nice.
Oh yeah, it's from Burning Man. Why is there a picture of the Thunderdome?
Because everyone's fighting over the consoles.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so both consoles a 30 frames a second slower frame rate on the Xbox One. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it doesn't help that they're using DDR3 graphics on the Xbox One.
Yeah, instead of DDR4?
No,
GDDR5.
Yeah,
Wait, no, PS4 uses GDDR5 over the Xbox One's DDR3.
exactly. So
even that
There's-
G,
that makes a difference.
they're not down with the G, yo.
Yeah.
Bad joke. Okay, so I'm going to segue here into talking about the PS4 and Xbox One. Good discussion that I've been seeing coming up on a bunch of gaming sites like IGN, Destructoid, Polygon, and a couple others is about, is it worth it to get these consoles, Xbox One and PS4, day one? Now, I'm getting the PlayStation 4 day one. It's going to be my very first console that I'm getting on day one. I think it's going to be worth it, especially with some of the games coming out. Like,
Solid lineup.
solid lineup. I mean, you got even games that are coming out before it, like a month prior, with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Watch Dogs.
Big one, yeah, that's the big one.
You know, we're getting a relaunch of a huge revamp of DC Universe Online for the PS4 launch day. We're getting that Drive Club. Thank you. Almost said Drive Test. I was waiting for you to finish my sentence for me. You did perfectly there. We're getting that for PS Plus day one.
It's actually a watered down version of it.
Which is not surprising.
No.
But what do you guys think? Do you guys think the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 individually or both are worth getting day one, or do you think they're worth holding off?
That's a tricky proposition.
I've had a lot of experience buying consoles on day one. I bought every single PlayStation day one, and this is going to be my first console from PlayStation that I haven't. So I've never had a problem day one purchase.
Well, it's I think that because you guys said that there's you brought up the fact that the systems look like they have a solid lineup. And I think, though, that historically, though, we've seen that launch titles, tend to disappoint while developers are getting used to the hardware and while, we're seeing, like, what gamers want to play. So, I mean, personally, I don't know. I'm getting the PS4 on launch day, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a little bit concerned about the quality of the titles that we're going to see, because I mean they look great, they really do. But again, I haven't played them, so I still don't know how great they're actually going to be.
Yeah,
I actually haven't bought a console on launch day since like the PlayStation 2. A lot of times it'll be either like maybe like a couple weeks or a month or two. A lot of times, it's just a matter of budget for me, but I do usually end up buying most consoles. So it kind of then becomes a question of just which one do I get first.
Yeah, that's usually
so that's more kind of the sort of calculus that I'm doing on it is, which one do I buy first and how far do I wait? I mean, we're not that far off at this point.
Yeah.
And I've still got, a lot of gaming that I'm doing. It's not so much that a question of, well, is this person like hardcore or not, about their gaming. It's like I'm playing these other games so much. It's like, do I even have time for some of these launch titles, or do I want to wait? And then I don't have to worry about like, well, I drive to this store and then I can't find it. I drive to this store. Like, my car uses a lot of damn gas.
Yeah.
Story.
Story of my life.
So, and I'm in California, where that is, one of those. I already go out hunting for Transformers and stuff. So, do I need to add another kind of circuit to that, sort of hunting party run that I do?
That's why I'd probably just try to buy it off Amazon or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like just step up the e-commerce aspect, but I think a lot of people are scared though. Well, not scared. I shouldn't. That's the wrong word, but
Worried.
Yeah, a little worried. I think that people are holding off. Some people, I think, want to hold off because they want to see how the systems perform when they come out. Because there's kinks to work out with that first wave. So they want to see. Yeah, so you want to see if there's anything wrong with it. Because I remember back in 2007, I was working at GameStop when the PS4 came out, and
PS3.
PS3, my bad. The PS3
I
came
knew
out.
it was from the future. I knew it.
There's something about this kid. There's something about him.
But I remember though, I sold somebody a PS3, and the next day they came back into the store and with the PS3 in hand, and they were like, this thing just burned up on me, So like.
Did you wrap it up in a towel and then set it in your microwave on low and then for 2 hours?
Yeah,
Sir, that's a George Foreman grill that you brought in.
That's not a PlayStation 3.
And then,
I personally, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
I personally usually wait to get consoles. My husband and I rarely ever get them on launch date, just for that, so they can work out kinks, and usually because we don't have the funds to get them on launch date, which is sad.
Well, I mean, that's the smartest way to go.
Thank you,
I
Gamer
think,
Joe.
especially when you're speaking.
Oh, we've lost him.
Who can afford to
he's
get
fine.
Wait,
even one?
who'd you lose?
Ryan's just kind of like cut out like entirely.
Oh,
Yeah, he's fine though. He's good. You're good.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, cool. I think a lot of people, are thinking about it financially. Like Joe was mentioning, like it's a thing where you got to think about your pocketbook. And a lot of people they can't afford to buy even one of the consoles, let alone both of them. So
yeah, that's
I think,
a lot of money.
Yeah, so I think that people want to know where their money is going. They want to know that they're making a good investment. Because I mean, at $400, $500 a pop, I mean, you're looking at a really huge investment. So you want to make sure that your money is being well spent. So I think it is smart to wait on it. But I mean, me being the guy that I am, I can't wait. So
Right now, we're leaning towards probably getting the Xbox One before the PS4, and that's just because I really want to play Dead Rising 3 and Rise Son of Rome.
Rise does look good.
Oh, it looks amazing.
So going from the personal perspective to the general gamer perspective, with the lineups that we have coming out for Xbox One and PS4, do you think these are going to be worth it for day one as opposed to PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U launches? Do you think that Xbox Xbone and PS4 are actually going to have the best launch release titles?
if we're comparing between this generation and next, I think that it's a given. I mean, because to be honest, the launch lineup for both the PS and the Xbox 360, in my opinion, were kind of garbage. Where with the lineups for both of these systems, they look phenomenal. Like you guys mentioned, Rise, we got Dead Rising, so these are great games that I know that I'm going to want to play. So as opposed to maybe I want to play this game the thought process that I had with the last generation.
Because the next generation is currently suffering. The Wii U itself is suffering. It had a really, really bad launch. The 3DS,
and that's because of the Wii.
Yeah. Do you guys think that the PS4 and Xbone may suffer the same issues?
No. Probably not. They kind of, I can't think of the word. They kind of have like a legacy if you think about it. People know them. They go to them specifically for that, and they know they'll perform.
Nintendo's had the legacy since '86.
Yeah, but you got to think about it this way too, though. When people talk about the term console war gets thrown around every single generation, and when we talk about a console war for this coming generation, it's just between Sony and Microsoft. Like Nintendo's not even being mentioned, and it's because of because I think the Wii and the problems that the Wii U had as far as a solid, consistent lineup. So I think that's what people are really looking at.
Yeah,
I will
Nintendo
say that...
hasn't.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying Nintendo hasn't been releasing any games, so there's no reason really for people to want to buy a Wii U.
Yeah,
Honestly.
definitely.
Just give us a Zelda game. They would sell so many Wii U's
Wind
if they
Waker
just had a
every single
badass
time.
Zelda
Wind
game.
Waker HD.
Oh my god. So, we bought a
Sorry.
we bought a Wii U,
Stream
and
issues.
I'll be honest. Like, it's probably we've used it more than most other consoles since we got it. But we've really been playing just like a couple of we've only been playing like a couple of games. Like, we play Nintendo Land almost nonstop because that's a great kind of party game if you like having people hang out in your house and you like kind of gaming together with them, and it's more of an interactive sort of thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, the Wii does that great.
Yeah, and the games that come in Nintendo Land are so much fun. Like, the way that they've made use of the concept of the gamepad in Nintendo Land is actually really fantastic. And if they did more shit like that, then it would be great.
Yeah, it would be an amazing system. I
You know,
have it, and I love it.
I mean, we had to pull her away from Pikmin 3 just to get this show on the road. I'm just kidding.
Were you still playing Pikmin 3 today?
No, I haven't played it recently. I've been stuck on Saints Row 4.
Good choice.
Okay.
I think-
There's a lot of potential there, and it's just kind of like, if you guys would make more use of this, it would be great. There's a lot of even in Nintendo Land, there's a lot of those little games that you're like, I would pay for another disc entirely if you just gave me like more of that and then more of that, and it's like so many places where they could be really getting a lot of people's attention, and
They
it's not
just
really
don't
happening.
they don't have any third-party support. Is their thing.
No, I think the biggest game that's going to come out for it this year is probably Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
So
Watch Dogs it's looking beautiful.
You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
really argue, though, that Nintendo hasn't really relied very much on third-party support for quite some time. Like, the last few console generations, all of the best games and the stuff that people were really looking forward to the most were almost all first-party titles.
First and second party.
Yeah, so I don't know necessarily that they need to worry so much about that, but they really should maybe put out more of their own fucking games.
Definitely.
They could, if they would just step that up even just a little bit, I'd be ecstatic.
something other than a Mario game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I want
cats.
to see Nintendo come up with a new IP. That's what I really want to see.
That would be good. I would love to see a new IP from Nintendo.
What's the newest IP that they had going?
First or second party?
First.
First.
I want to say Metroid, but no, that's
No,
not true at all.
that's 87.
Jeez.
That's a good question.
I mean, I should say something that we're so stumped. Like,
Yeah, and the Wii U, I think both the Wii U and the Wii, they cater to a very specific sect of people. The people
Pikmin,
who,
I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pikmin, but I wasn't sure.
That makes sense.
But they cater to a specific group of people, which is people who want to play with others in the room with them. Whereas the Microsoft and Sony are going the route of, you just play with other people in other places and you'll be okay.
There's another selling point that the Xbone and the PS4 will have, and that's like Blu-ray and DVD playing. Like, you can't do that on the Wii U. Like, that's a selling point for a lot of people.
It is.
Yeah.
And it was a huge selling point for the PS3 when it came out, because at the time, like, Blu-ray players were like $1,000. So
Blu-ray on PS3, DVD on PS2.
Let me see here. Raining. I'm still looking for the latest Nintendo IP.
I know. I keep
2005.
playing
really
stuff
wanna
and
say-
I'm
I
like,
really wanna say
oh,
it's
here it
Kidman.
is. Oh no, it's that second party. Never mind.
Brain Age.
Brain Age?
Brain
Yep.
Age is the latest IP from Nintendo.
Okay.
First party.
And that did reasonably well too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what about Animal Crossing?
No, Animal Crossing is like they brought that out in like during the 64 days in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Animal
2001. Yeah,
Crossing
never
is-
mind. Yeah.
I just would like them to put out a Wii U WarioWare game that isn't terrible.
Well,
That's an
isn't that
actual
isn't that
Wario
that
game.
new quote unquote WarioWare game, the new one, good?
Game and Watch is pretty meh. It really has like a very limited number of like types of games you're doing, like where one of the hallmarks of some of the other WarioWare titles when you start playing with your friends is like, well, now we can play this way, and oh, now there's this other mode we can do, and oh, there's this entirely other game, and it feels really kind of small and bland by comparison. I mean, if we want to play a WarioWare game, we're gonna end up going to either the GameCube one or the Wii one, the Smooth Moves, which is actually a really great game. If you
Way too addicting, honestly.
yeah, you play that in a group, and you can get like a room full of people just acting ridiculous.
Yeah, but we can't get a new Battletoads game on a new Nintendo because it's Rare, and Rare is owned by Microsoft. That was a little biased there. Oh my god, I'm
A
sorry.
little bit. You might want to check your objectivity.
Check your objectivity before you walk in this door.
Make the Tumblr right now.
No longer check your privilege. Check your objectivity.
Jeez. Well, that happened.
Gamefixt. Check it.
We're professional.
I was thinking though that because Nintendo has dominated the handheld market for like ever,
Yeah.
and I think that wouldn't it like from a business standpoint, wouldn't it be smarter? Wouldn't it be like a really good idea for them to like focus primarily on that? Since I mean the 3DS is still doing phenomenal.
Can't wait for that 2DS.
And also,
Hey, you know what? Go ahead.
On the 3DS, they keep releasing core titles like Luigi's Mansion. There's that new, I don't remember the new Mario Luigi game that came out, but I saw that
The
recently.
Dream one.
Oh, Dream
Yeah,
Team or something like that.
one. So,
Ocarina
I
of
mean,
Time HD.
I would have loved a Luigi's Mansion for Wii U, but they didn't release it.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why it's doing so well, because they have these core Nintendo titles that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
They have that like Luigi's Mansion Nintendo Land thing, and that's about as close as it gets.
The new
Yeah.
Paper Mario was on 3DS as well. Kid Icarus Uprising. That was a huge one because we haven't seen anything from Kid Icarus since the Game Boy of Gods and Monsters.
Yeah. I remember that. I actually had it when I was like 8.
God, that game sucked.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Hold on. Helios, I can actually prove you wrong that the Vita does not have good games. It doesn't like good games because I have 40 games currently sitting on my Vita just like waiting for me to play every single one of them.
It's just a lack of games. It's not a lack of good games. If you think about it.
Well, you got the PS1 cross-play games. You got
Yeah, but what about just Vita-centric games?
like Vita, exclusive. There's not as many, but they are still good games that you can play on a Vita.
speaking of
There's
Vita.
still games to play on Vita.
Speaking of Vita, something I can't wait for. Vita TV.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that actually looks interesting.
I might actually sell my PlayStation Vita for Vita TV. Because it's what I've been wanting.
Well, thing is about it, you won't be able to play all the Vita games on the TV. If I remember correctly, it only takes the cartridge, the cart-based games.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
I'm perfectly fine with that.
So many amazing games on it that don't have carts.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them that do. I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I've been wanting to play Gravity Rush on TV. That's my big thing.
Well, then it comes down to like how like when buying something like that, you got to think about like someone's like, how badly do I really want to see this on my TV? And if you're playing it on your TV, I mean, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of having a portable gaming system. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Whatever. Like the thing that really annoys me is, Kaylei, you'll notice this on the top of yours. There's that extra peripheral slot that does nothing.
Let me grab it real fast. Oh, hey,
Yeah. Apparently, from what I know, like that was supposed to be a TV out, and that really annoys me. Because, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no reason for the slot in the Vita.
Unused peripheral slots is a proud gaming tradition, though. You know,
Yeah.
and we're always saying like, well, maybe someday
Looks
we'll
like
get
a
to
face.
putting that add-on out there,
Like,
and we
like
never
the PlayStation, like the eye for the PSP, like they didn't come out till the very end of its life cycle.
Well,
But at least it came
in America,
out, right?
in America,
You look at
it
the
was
bottom of your Nintendo, like
I mean, there's so many peripherals for the PSP that came out in Japan that we never got here. They had a radio they had a radio thing that you could listen to radio on it. They had
I had that.
They had the it didn't come out until like the very end of the life cycle for here in America. They had the camera for years. I think they had that back in like 2006.
I saw a solar-powered charger for the PSP over there.
Yeah, they had that too. I mean, there's so many different things when I was living out there that I saw. I was like, why don't we get these? You know, and then they also
Yeah.
had the different colored ones. All we had in America was black and silver and white. They
Yeah.
had like 3 shades of blue, 3 shades of red, brown.
Well, I think that
I don't trust someone who buys a brown like electronics device. Like,
Well, it was the
Yeah, that
the
sounds
crisis.
really weird to me.
sounds like a
like-
Zune to me.
The
I actually really loved my first gen Zune. I got one for
Me
free
too.
out
They were
of through
built
their
up.
like through their it had like you could do like play games on their website and earn points, and then you could use the points to buy things. And one of the things, if you got enough points, was a Zune.
Hmm.
And
smile, you're on Game Boy camera. Sorry, Gloomfall said that in the chat, and I just like immediately got stuck in my head.
someone actually figured out on the Something Awful forums that they made like a program that would play the games for you, and so you could just like leave it on and then get your free Zune or whatever. And I had just had another iPod die on me, like the yearly cycle of death and repurchase, and
Apple.
yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm getting kind of sick of this, and I'd had like another like MP3 player that was like Arcos or something before that, and it was terrible. So I gave it a try, and it was actually a really pleasant to use product, and it lasted a good 5 or 6 years.
That's the thing about first generation anything, is you could usually toss that thing at a brick wall and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, and I actually really liked it. It did everything I needed to do without failing on me for a very long period of time. It was awesome. And I was actually a little sad to see it go, but now I use Spotify on my phone, so I wouldn't have, it doesn't matter.
Still don't have Spotify.
So Brando actually just brought up a good thing in the chat. He says he wants more games like Symphony of the Night, Super Metroid, Metroidvania games. That's something to talk about, because there's so many games now coming out on like Kickstarter. We're getting like a lot of roguelikes, a lot of Metroidvania games like that.
Plus you got, what is it called? Mega Number 9 or something like that?
Mighty Number 9's coming out.
Yeah.
That's the new Mega Man game. I'm sorry, it's the new IP.
Oh yeah.
Mega Man's baby brother.
/ air quotes.
So, yeah, you can get excited for that.
I mean, we're right now. I guess I don't want to call it a fad, because fads fade out over time. But we're at a point where like the 90s are coming back, but modern. Like we're getting so many games on Kickstarter. Like we're getting these awesome 2D side scrollers. We're getting these roguelikes. Like I wouldn't say Spelunky because it wasn't a Kickstarter, but Rogue Legacy. We're getting games like some awesome point-and-click adventure games coming out. Those have finally resurged over, after years of being dead, after LucasArts didn't do anything with them.
Well, that's, because of Double Fine really kicking that off again.
Yeah, Double Fine did that, really well. Double Fine and then Telltale. I
Yep,
think.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking Dead was just fantastic, I think.
Unbelievable.
I'm really looking forward to the Fables one that's being done.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the
Right?
movie.
Oh, I hope it's good. I hope it's not terrible. I've definitely noticed like kind of like that resurgence of like the kind of like the sort of nostalgia, sort of feeling of things. Like in the 80s, like it's coming back, and I'm a little worried that it's not just in like the kind of games we like. Like I saw a dude with like a full on like flat top into like fade with the lines cut in them
Oh dear.
the other day, and like I started seeing some of the more like I saw like leg warmers recently, just like out in the wild.
Well, you live in San Francisco. The 90s never left in San Francisco.
It was gone for a while. It's something that's just recently started happening. So I don't know. Maybe something terrible has happened, and that's why we're seeing all of these wonderful games. So there you go. I've just
So
ruined
it's
that
like are these
entire
great
good
games
feeling
like the first out of the apocalypse or something?
Possibly.
Or maybe it's like Saints Row 4 and everyone's just wearing old-timey clothes and whatever it is.
So we talked about Final
We're all
Fantasy
in a
14 for a
simulation.
bit.
Yeah.
Jeff and Sarah, why don't you guys talk a little bit about some Saints Row 4? You know, what makes it the best game ever?
I love it.
I can't really say that actually,
Unlike
because
Joe.
it does a lot of the stuff Saints Row 3 does.
I can tell you why it's the best game ever.
I know you can tell me why it's the best game ever.
Well, he can tell the viewers why it's the best game ever.
Tell us, Joe.
Here's why Saints Row 4 is the best game ever, and that it's just not even in the like other games aren't even in the running. Like I like StarCraft 2. Okay, I love StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is not the best game ever. Saints Row 4 is the best game ever, and this is why. Step 1: steal one of those semi-trucks that are driving around. It's very easy to do. You just press Y when you're standing near one and surprise them what's yours.
Jeff.
Joe, I love you sometimes.
Just go on.
Step 2: Saints Row 4 allows you to create mixtapes of all of the different music that they have available, and there's a lot of different radio stations with a lot of great songs on there, a lot of questionable songs too. But so I said, awesome! Like I'm driving around, I've got my my truck. Now I'm gonna. Oh wait, no. First I'm going to paint it. I'm gonna go customize my truck. I'm gonna paint it red and blue. I'm now driving Optimus Prime. Now I'm gonna get my mixtape going. So I start adding songs, and I'm like, let's do 1980s playlist. Why not? So I'm like, okay, we got a little Paulo Abdul, okay, because the 80s are coming back. And I'm adding these songs, and then I see the most glorious words that I could have possibly seen in that list. I see Stan Bush, The Touch. So I was like, I said, oh my goodness, yes, that's going directly onto my playlist. And I start looking through to find some more songs, and then I realize that I can actually take off every other song on my playlist, leaving only Stan Bush's The Touch. So then I exit the menu, start driving around in my Optimus Prime semi-truck. Well, all I'm hearing is, you got the touch! And then the 80s synths like, dun, dun, you got the power! And I'm just driving, barreling over bad guys and crushing things, and all I can hear is like I'm looking for a ramp to just jump. And I realized, I looked at my friends in the room and I said, Saints Row 4 was the greatest game ever. And I defy anyone to disprove me in that assertion.
Well, if you're not running out to buy it after that, then just throw your console away.
Well, I'm sold, and I already own the game.
You're gonna buy another copy
Anyone-
now.
I'm gonna go buy a copy on
owns
Steam
the
now.
game and hears me say that, they're gonna be sitting there going, I fucking could do that, couldn't I? You're all welcome.
I might do that on the stream tonight after the show.
Well, if you also get a big enough vehicle, you can also totally do What Is Love by Hathaway. And just go through a town. Just drive. That's all you need. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was improved from 3 to 4, and I that's what I guess really does make it the best. But there's still a lot of stuff left over, and that kind of annoys me.
So, Jeff, what do you prefer, Saints Row 3 or Saints Row 4?
Saints Row 4 to the music, Saints Row 3 because it's easier to play.
Easier to play?
Like,
Yeah.
how is it easier to play exactly? Because Saints Row 3 was pretty straightforward.
That's why. It just
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Saints Row 4 hasn't hooked me yet. I'm
Oh.
well into it. It's like 50% of the way through, and it hasn't hooked me yet.
How
Like
much have you
Saints Row
been? How
3.
much have you been playing it lately?
Quite a
Oh,
bit.
so you don't mean like easier to play? Like, what are all these buttons and what do they do?
No,
Gosh,
no.
this is so hard. It's more like it's really hard for you to find the motivation to play it. Like, it just hasn't.
Exactly.
It hasn't earned your love yet, but does it at least have your respect?
Yes, no, definitely. It's definitely an upgrade from Saints Row 3, but I still like Saints Row 3 better. The story, just I can play that any time
Yeah.
of the day, and I love it.
But that opening mission.
That opening mission in Saints Row 4, my God, was it amazing!
So it's better than the opener from Saints Row 3 because I thought that was pretty awesome.
The opener for Saints Row 3 was bar none amazing, mainly because of the suits that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Saints Row 4
Oh, I'm not even
basically.
talking about that. I'm just talking about the opening credits.
Yeah. Yes, no, definitely Jorf. No, you basically the bad guys launch was it a nuclear missile?
Uh-huh.
And you the president basically jump on the missile, riding it as it flies out into space while the Aerosmith song from Armageddon plays. Everyone's giving their heartfelt, we love you, man. We're gonna miss you. I love you. Blah blah blah. And you're just climbing up a fucking rocket, destroying it as it's about to go, blow up the world. And you're just like, and you got Aerosmith playing in the background. It's like, this is the best opening scene ever.
Can we get that
It's
song
pretty
queued up? 'Cause
amazing.
now I gotta hear it.
And that's not even where
No.
it gets weird.
No.
Oh, God.
Keith Davids is the vice president, the actor playing himself in a game.
Yeah, I saw that. So that,
Like-
I don't know. Is that better than Burt Reynolds as himself in Saints Row 3?
Oh,
I
it's
feel
such a
like-
close call.
I feel like Burt Reynolds was more something that a lot more people would have been like, oh, hey, that's Burt Reynolds. Well, like, I feel like Keith David, like, is really more, it feels a little bit more like in-jokey, right? Like, if I were to just be all like, oh, hey, like, Keith David's in that. Like, there's like a 50-50 shot that someone, like, random off the street, well, not even 50-50, I'm being really fucking generous there. There's like a 50-50 shot that someone, like, in my group of friends would probably, like, be like, oh, yeah, really? Okay, cool. And then the other half would be like, so?
No, see, no, actually, now that I think about it, that's actually pretty funny because he played the gang leader in the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
No, or was it? So didn't Samuel L. Jackson play a part in one of the Saints Row games?
No, he was in Grand Theft Auto.
That was San Andreas.
Oh, yeah, Tenpenny.
Tenpenny. Yes, you can actually. That's another thing, JT. You can have any gender character you want, and they can have the voice of Nolan North.
I don't understand the significance of Nolan North, and that makes me
He's
sad.
just really well known voice actor in the video game industry. Because he's Desmond in Assassin's Creed. He's Drake in Uncharted. He does a bunch of other roles here and there. He's Deadpool.
Yeah, great
and
Deadpool, by the way.
He's amazing Deadpool in both cartoons and the game. And you can just choose him as a voice. Like, Jeff, you've seen me play this. You actually, I have this female character, as female as they get. And she's like, oh, God, like talking like Nolan North. It's the best thing in the world.
I just like the yelling he does. That I will admit that.
Anytime he falls down, ah!
No.
his shouting is the greatest.
Awesome.
Jesus.
I just
Yeah.
love Saints Row 4 because it's so ridiculously over the top. That's why I've always been more partial to Saints Row than I have to Grand Theft Auto, just because it's more fun. It doesn't take itself so seriously as a game. And
it
this
doesn't
one
take
is
30
just
hours to complete.
yeah. And this one is just so completely over the top. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I will tell you right now, like, it's very rare that I'll play a Grand Theft Auto game all the way through. And it's not that I'm like, well, it's too hard to do or anything. It's because I start playing it, and what invariably happens is I just end up like, oh, hey, there's a garbage truck. All right, I'm going to steal that garbage truck, and I'm going to drive around. And it's really because, like, it's just kind of, I don't really care about what I'm doing. It's like, I guess I'm just going to go continue to be kind of a horrible person, but I guess maybe for sort of good reasons. Then my cousin starts calling me wanting to go bowling, and I really don't care about him.
That's like the biggest.
and so I hardly ever. It's kind of a slog eventually, where it's just like I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing, and it's super serious, and it didn't used to be, but now it is. And whereas I can sit down and play Saints Row, and I finish every single one of them.
Yeah,
that has come out.
That goes back to what I was saying though about how Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row 4, like that's two different sets of gamers. I think some of us can enjoy both. Like myself, I can play through a Grand Theft Auto game and play through a Saints Row game and enjoy them, equally. So I think though that's why I'm really glad that both games exist, because it really caters to both like sensibilities. Because some of us just don't have the patience for Grand Theft Auto nowadays, I think.
No.
Especially after 4 and how slow it was.
Yeah, it got really slow there. But I mean, the DLCs for it were actually pretty top notch. So.
Ballad of Gay Tony was pretty brilliant. I will give it that.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. I heard Ballad of Gay Tony was a lot better than the main game itself. I never got to play it, but
yeah, a lot of the stuff they took out going from San Andreas to 4 kind of made an appearance in Ballad of Gay Tony, and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, like skydiving.
Yeah, parachutes. Yeah, that came back. Like, why would you take that out? Plus the tank type vehicle. Like, they took that out going from San Andreas to 4, and that was a big thing for Grand Theft Auto. Like, everyone always wanted the tank. I don't understand why they take that out.
Well, I think that it was a conscious choice. I remember when before Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, it was a conscious choice because they wanted to, because it didn't really fit into like that serious tone that they were trying to set with Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the only reason they took it out, because it didn't fit into like whatever continuity they were trying to establish with it.
Good point. I'll let you have that. Like, so speaking of that, like they're talking about the story in Grand Theft Auto 5 looks amazing. And I think it is because they're going back to that little bit of silliness.
Yeah.
With the Trevor character, which I'm liking this guy.
Yeah, and he's actually, I think he's becoming like a fan favorite just because he's like so like insane,
ridiculous.
Which is like he's absolutely insane, and like that's the kind of character that those of us who came up on like the original Grand Theft Auto, that's the kind of guy we're used to, like just like the psychopathic, murderous guy.
Exactly.
who we want. That's the person that we seek out to be when we play Grand Theft Auto, which is that was taken away from us in Grand Theft Auto 4, which is why I think a lot of people like you guys have been enjoying Saints Row 4 more, or Saints Row 4, yeah, right, Saints Row more, because it's just it goes back to that. It goes back to being the psychopath who blows up everything he wants and like just does whatever. So
Sean came up with the perfect description of Trevor. I can't fight that.
Jack Nicholson and Johnny Knoxville fused together. It seems pretty legit. Like, I remember watching the gameplay trailer, and they're talking about how you can swap between the characters. You can you're playing as one, and then you can see what the other two are up to. One of them is taking on a heist, and then you got Trevor, who's like arguing with like his son or something like that. He's like trying to he was on a police chase.
Yeah.
Like in his truck going, "You're never gonna catch me." And it's just ridiculous. And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back to wandering around town now."
Come back in 5 minutes and see what he's doing later.
Next thing you're watching, he's like flushing a body down a toilet with a plunger. He's like, "Ah."
Such is life in GTA.
Such is life in the new GTA, which is good.
yeah.
Oh man.
So, Joe, I was actually just thinking about this with Grand Theft Auto. There's been leaks, the leaked images, the leaked map showing how huge the new city is. Speaking of leaked things, your upcoming game that you've been looking forward to, I think the new Diablo 3 expansion. Why don't you go on and do you want to elaborate on some of those leaks
Sure.
that we're already seeing for the new expansion?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how something like this would have happened anymore. I mean, we kind of always get some of these leaks with Blizzard stuff, but it seems really early for this one, for as much of the content as there's been just a huge amount of information leaked from data miners who've to the point where you even have like the entire soundtrack pretty much has been data mined from this new expansion coming up, and it sounds really good. I mean, there's one thing that Blizzard does well. It's soundtracks. Like I have all of their like soundtrack CDs like in my car, just because sometimes you want to like have something really fucking epic to drive to, and I actually kind of didn't care a lot about. I was like, okay, well the cinematic was really cool, it's gorgeous, whatever, and I'll probably get it eventually. It was really more like, well, of course I'm gonna get it because but I wasn't like super looking forward to it, and now we've started seeing some of this stuff coming out, and it looks like they're actually kind of trying to address a lot of some of the stuff that maybe I kind of had gotten bored with. Like there was there's been stuff like, there's going to be kind of more of a unique feel to some of the weapons. Like they're going to be able to have like skill modifiers again. Like that was some of the coolest stuff from Diablo 2, where you'd have these drops that would modify a skill or something, and you'd end up having an entire build like based around that skill. And that like, wait, now I can be a werewolf? Okay, like so I don't know if it's gonna. I'm not sure if it's gonna go quite that far, but at least it's gonna have a little bit more variety to that sort of thing. And we've got. I had a whole like list. I was actually just looking over all of this.
I don't know. I've been having a blast with Diablo 3 so far. So.
Because you've been playing the PS3 version.
You've been playing the console version, which I've actually heard is the better version of them. I played on PC, and I did play it quite a bit. Through like I got up through like Inferno, and I realized I was like, well, it didn't really have quite the same like hook as Diablo 2 did, where you would spend like hours with like my housemates, like like, look at this crazy thing I found, and then we started getting into like editing and making our own weapons. But you could do all of that because you had like sort of the weapons could be that sort of have that much unique sort of flavor to them.
Yeah.
Whereas this one just didn't really feel that way, and so they're kind of, if they're adding that sort of thing back in, it looks like they're going to be addressing some of the loot drop issues. It'll work more kind of like on the console, where you'll see more stuff that's relevant to you,
which would be awesome.
Yeah, it's really hard if you're like, well, I only have this one class, and I keep seeing stuff that's good for this other class, and you could sell it on the auction house. But when it first started, I actually like would sell stuff on the auction house as soon as the real money auction house. I ended up paying for my World of Warcraft account for like a year, because I basically just like made money just selling random like things for like $1 or $2 a piece.
Yeah.
Found that looked good, and now you got so much like min-maxing has gone on, and I mean, and that's fine, but it's not. The auction house has just kind of become this sort of integral part of it, and
is there actually any more game to Diablo 3 aside the auction house at this point? I mean,
not so much, and I mean, it's cool that I got to like basically make enough money to pay for stuff like for my other gaming habits for a year, but it's not something where like I would be like, I'm gonna be a pro gamer by grinding Diablo 3.
Well, when you think about games like that, though, I mean, how much is there to them, really? You know what I mean? Like any like hack and slash dungeon crawler game, I mean, what you're doing at the beginning of the game is pretty much the same as you're going to be doing at the end of the game. So
it's all really about the replayability. Like, is it worth it to go from the beginning of the game to the end of the game multiple times in a row, or is it only really worth it going through it once? Because there's a lot of roguelikes, like Spelunky and I want to say Rogue Legacy, where it may take you years to get to the final end of the game, but once you do, you're just like, that was fun as hell, I want to do it again. And there's games like Diablo 3 where you get to the end and you're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, the only thing I want to do after this is go to Ponyville or whatever it's called, and then you just that's it.
It looks like we're going to see more randomized maps, which I think would be a lot more enjoyable.
Bastion is amazing, yes. Sorry, I was just speaking with chat there.
So we've got like, I just clicked my list away again here. We've got stuff like randomized maps. There's going to be some sort of a ladder system. Like bounties. Like I said, the skill building legendaries, the improved drops. They're gonna.
Did I just hear someone else talking?
I don't know. I think so. Was that Sarah?
No, I wasn't saying anything. I think it's some background noise somewhere.
Oh, okay. That was weird.
Well, there was a bird earlier.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe there's people over at Ryan's house.
Yeah.
Ghosts or something.
Well, I do have ghosts, but no.
The one thing I will say that we haven't seen in any of these data mine anything that I've seen is anything about PvP. So still no PvP. But other than that, I'm wondering if the story will maybe be a little bit less kind of predictable.
That's kind of surprising coming.
Diablo said, "Oh wait, Diablo's back."
Yeah.
I felt like the Diablo 3, like the whole time I was playing it, it was kind of be like, all right, well, I mean, spoilers. If anyone has not beat this game after it's been out for over a year, you might want to plug your ears for a second. The first time you meet that girl and you spend any amount of time with her, you're like, well, she's Diablo in the end, isn't she?
Yeah, and that's kind of like saw that comment, especially when her mom came into the picture. I was like, oh, I'm sure I'm gonna get betrayed by her at some point. So
yeah, you felt kind of like they wanted to be all like, what's a twist? But you're just like that one guy in the theater who's like, well, but Bruce Willis is dead. Spoilers again. I'm terrible.
They didn't even, their plot twists weren't even as good as M. Night Shyamalan doing Avatar.
Yeah, you're like, well, I bet that guy that fell down, he's an angel. So I bet I know which one he is. I'm hoping that we've got this new cinematic, and it's like, oh, the Angel of Death, who, supposedly is, I guess, he knows who he is. Maybe he's good. I don't know, but what's he up to? It probably has something to do with Diablo.
No way.
I know, spoilers.
You're blowing my freaking mind.
Oh, Taha, you just had to bring up Remember Me. You just had to bring that up. I think he's banned.
No, nobody mentions that game ever again.
Really? That's where we're gonna draw our line in the sand. If we're gonna have any game that we ban mention of, where we're like, this is our red line, it's gonna be Remember Me.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Aliens, Colonial Marines.
That's Joe's line in the sand. I have seen Joe rant about that.
Oh my god.
Colonial Marines barely qualifies as a game, though. It's more like a.
Oh god, Ryan, don't get him started. Don't not get him started. I'm just warning you right now.
Ride to Hell Retribution. Have you seen that?
Which one?
Ride to Hell Retribution.
Oh,
have you seen this?
No, I never heard of it.
That sounds so familiar. Is that the biker game?
Yes. Once we're done here, you guys should just go check out the first 10 minutes of this game. It'll blow your mind how bad it is.
I'm just gonna watch some Sons of Anarchy and just call it.
You're good. You'll be missing out.
Ride to Hell Retribution trailer.
No, not even trailer.
Oh,
just the first 5 minutes of the game. Even it's so beautiful.
Opening.
If anybody here's seen it, oh yeah, Sean.
Sean's seen it because he's probably watched Two Best. Yep, there we go. I didn't even have to see what he said to guess exactly where he's seen it. And I'm just like, let me guess. Two Best Friends. Yep.
God.
Yeah, if you want to watch footage of a bad game, just always go to Two Best Friends, and there you go.
It's because they play all the games that Game Grumps doesn't play.
Yeah. But Sarah, remember when we were at your house and we were watching them play all those like really awful indie games?
Oh yeah, that was a great video.
Thanks for including us in that one, guys.
Well, come to San Antonio and you can be included.
Nope, never mind. I'm done. I hear it gets hot there.
It was 104 yesterday.
I like Iowa. I'm staying.
How can anyone like Iowa? I'm sorry, I spent a month there, 2 months there. Nope.
Deal with it.
I mean,
I
Joe
respect-
Joe was smart enough to get out.
Oh man, I exited stage left a long time ago.
No, we're
What
not
were
saying
talking
we're
about?
not saying Diablo 3. We're all over the place.
We were just kind of like meandering around. What was the original question? It just kind of ended up here someone like asked Kevin Smith, "What's your favorite video game?"
Yeah, we went off on a tangent there.
Many tangents. So, okay.
Oh, it was the Diablo 3 data mine, and then
Yeah.
we started talking about spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hope that story is. I'm curious to see what they got up their sleeves, and I hope it's a little more predictable than anything they've done recently. So, crap. Never mind.
To be fair, I thought Heart of the Swarm was pretty good as far
I
as
did enjoy
story-wise.
that, but I don't know that I'm. I may be blinded there, just because it's StarCraft. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Blizzard is known for their gameplay, their soundtracks, their cinematics. They're not necessarily known for their stories. Leave that to Sakaguchi and all them people who used to be at SquareSoft. Mistwalker, that's what I'm trying to think of. Thank you. And Suda51. Because let me tell you, Travis Touchdown, greatest video game character ever. Those of you who haven't played No More Heroes, Travis Touchdown is the main character there.
He's better than Garcia Hotspur.
I'm sorry, man. I mean, it's Travis.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's all that's needed to be said. If Joe
heard some-
if Joe can get away with talking about, you've got the touch for Saints Row 4, I can at least say Travis is the greatest character ever.
Yeah, I think Joe sold us on Saints Row 4 though with that tangent though.
Yeah, if you have a humorous anecdote about Travis Touchdown.
You have to jerk off your sword in order for it to power up again.
Oh well, I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, that's also
Sounds
true,
like
so.
Shadow of the Damned.
No, the gun in Shadow of the Damned is just the boner. When it levels up,
The
it gets
hot
longer.
boner.
I do like how games are just tossing all conformities out the window now. They're just doing ridiculous things. It's amazing.
What have we done? What have I done?
Well, you put us in a chat room together, and then we ended up here.
Oh
So
yeah.
when we wake up, we're at Grandma's.
Are we there yet? Gloomfall is a Johnny Gat fan. Is Johnny Gat in Saints Row 4?
Well, he died in the
Right
previous
at the-
one.
Oh, that's right.
Right at
Never
the
mind.
very beginning too.
That's right. Derp.
And like in the trailers, it even shows Johnny Gat back in Saints Row 4.
I have a Johnny Gat memorial statue on my shelf right now.
Did you get like the
Yes.
Wub edition or something like that? Or?
I went to I finally got my Xbox 360 fixed, and so my buddy was like saying, "You gotta get Saints Row 4. You gotta get Saints Row 4. You can play Saints Row 4 with me," because we played Saints Row 3 together, or sorry, Saints Row the third. TM.
Who cares?
Hashtag marketing. But so we went to Best Buy and I got my hard drive, and they had the collector's edition there, but it was marked like the same as the regular edition. And I was like, well, fuck, okay. So yeah, I got like a statue and a dubstep gun, which is really loud and has a
Is it
laser
really
in
that
it.
loud?
It's pretty loud. I'm not gonna do it because like it's actually super loud, and once you start it, you can't stop it until the song finishes playing.
Oh lord.
And then like a
The big
dubstep
Sounds like a
Doomsday
sexual
button
innuendo
thing.
there.
The sound quality on that the Doomsday button is not so good, but I do like that you have to like unlock the quote unquote slash air quotes glass case and then flip a toggle switch and then push the button. That does it is a nice little touch, that toggle switch there.
Mod project. replace dubstep gun audio with claptrap beatboxing. There you go.
That's my cell phone ringtone actually is when I hear like him going wub wub wub
Drop.
wub wub wub, and that's when I know I got a call coming in.
Fair enough.
That's definitely a good one. Whenever my mom calls me, it's that Dr. Demento. They're coming to take me away.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, my mom's calling.
There's like maybe some younger people like Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, Weird
Which
Al,
is something
what?
else entirely.
Completely different.
That's
Something else
for another
entirely.
day. That's for another podcast. These youngins.
Yeah.
Just learning about DuckTales through DuckTales Remastered. Speaking of DuckTales Remastered,
You gonna
so
get back to that?
no, the contest ends tomorrow.
Right.
So we're teaming up with Outpost Orlando for a small giveaway sweepstakes for legality's sake, where people can just retweet call to arms that both Outpost Orlando and Gamefixt have been posting on Twitter over and over. You just retweet that, make sure you follow both of us, and you get a chance to win a couple little cool DuckTales prizes. And I'm pretty sure we've only had 5 entrants, so we're pretty sure they're going to be the only ones who win. But it ends tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So
There's a link.
Yep, there's a link right there. Thanks to Jeff. DuckTales inbox. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go pick that up with my no money. Just check out our Twitter. You'll see I've been posting a very specific tweet over and over and over again. You just make sure you follow us, follow Outpost Orlando, retweet that, and you'll be entered to win. That's all you have to do. And you get a chance to win this really cool plush golden coin, which Way Forward and Disney had at SDC, which was used. You would give them this little coin to jump into their giant ass money pit of all the coins. And so this is very, very limited. No one else has these. So
Get at it.
So you just retweet the call at arms, and that's it. That's your entry. But you have to make sure you just. Go ahead.
And you have a really awesome chance to win. So do it.
Yeah, I mean before tomorrow. That's all you do is you find that call to arms that just says follow and retweet Gamefixt and Outpost Orlando for a chance to win. You just retweet that. Make sure you follow both of us. Boom, you're in. That's all you have to do. And it ends tomorrow. Is this Kingdom Hearts? Yes, it is. Sorry, music for the stream. The background noise. No, it's not Facebook. It's Twitter. Did I say Facebook? I meant Twitter. It's Twitter. All it is Twitter. Twitter, Facebook, like whatever. Follow and retweet on Twitter.
Well,
I'm a horrible. I'm a
Facebook.
retweet us. I'm sorry. Retweet us on Twitter because I don't hardly ever use. Okay, see, I did say Twitter. Okay, yeah.
We're gonna be doing this all through MySpace. MySpace and Path.
And don't forget my yearbook.
Friendster.
Yeah, you have to sign a yearbook.
And check our live journal.
Hey, shut up! I still have an LJ.
A diary land.
Dude, I've been on LiveJournal since it was invite only days. I'm sorry.
I had a GeoCities homepage.
I had that
And
AOL
it's
hometown.
And it's not important what I put on it.
Apparently,
Also gonna be on
the state of Massachusetts for their when you have jury duty, their website still looks like an Angel Fire website. It's awesome.
Does it have like the MIDI that starts up, and then there's like the construction banners because your site is under construction, and like sparkles and the marquee and link hashtags everywhere?
I think everything's in Comic Sans.
Nice.
Gross.
Like all the links are bold and italicized.
Comic Sans is awesome.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I meant grossly
The
incandescent.
opinions expressed by Jeff Wheaton on the Gamefixt podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the other people on the podcast.
I've been playing way too much. We didn't play test this, so
I'm sorry, that was the first time you ever said Jeff Wheaton, and I immediately thought Will Wheaton. I was like, wait, Will Wheaton's here? Oh, wait, just Jeff.
No.
Just Jeff.
Just Jeff.
Wow. Poor Jeff. I still love you, Jeff.
So speaking of Jeff, we actually are. He's one of the main guys here, and Sarah, are on the YouTube team. Yes, Sarah's a main guy. I'm sorry. Plot
Yeah, I'm
twist.
the main guy.
She's a guy. Just Jeff. Now he is now known as. We're gonna
Head's
be
on the table right now.
We're gonna be working on some YouTube videos soon. Hopefully, getting some Let's Plays for you guys to watch. If you have any recommendations for us to play, let us know. We might play it.
I think I need my glasses.
You don't need your glasses.
Everything on the screen is a blur.
That's okay. You don't want to read any of it, just Jeff. What?
We've actually been playing. Well, I've been playing Shadowrun Returns. Joe Bongi did a kind of review on it, like an experience review, comparing it to the previous games in the series.
Shadowrun Returns is a really fun game. There's a lot of reading on it. Like there's a lot of flavor text and stuff. So
It's very much like Baldur's Gate.
yeah.
It's not good
So-
for those fast-paced Let's Plays. Everything is frantic.
It could be like an audiobook though, right? Like you just kind of like put your headphones on and listen to the story of Shadowrun Returns.
Not sponsored by Audible.com.
Narrated by a Morgan Freeman impersonator. Yes, Helios,
See,
you have to
There you
retweet.
go. Now that's how you do it. If you are going to do Shadowrun Returns, you do need to come up with some drinking game and read it in voices.
Curtis, you had to go there. Ninja Gaiden. You just want to torture me and make me play that some more.
Yeah,
You were going to anyway, so...
I seen the clips. That was horrendous. Oh, you look like you about killed yourself.
I did. I died in game. But I did get a sub 20 time today, so safe strats. Followed my death.
Congratulations.
Oh, man.
Alright, so I
Thank
mean
you.
we've been at this for an hour and a half. Do we want to keep going for 2 hours or we just want to end it here soon or
Well, as soon as we're done here, I just go watch more DreamHack Bucharest. So
Bucharest?
I'm good. No, Bucharest. It's they're doing a big StarCraft thing this weekend because I'm a giant nerd.
Boom. Just make sure oh yeah, also Helios, make sure you follow both pages, because otherwise you won't be actually able to win.
2 thumbs up if you do. And I will personally make you a cookie.
Oh,
Personally.
oh, did you hear that? He's gonna make you a cookie.
After
He'll
Sounds
mail it
sketchy
to
too.
you.
Not actually gonna make a cookie.
Oh,
It
he's going
comes to
back on
me
it
through
now.
mail for people on the internet.
Make sure your parents check it first.
It's totally safe. Totally.
And make sure you're not on the phone.
It's not anything wrong with it. It's just he makes terrible cookies. That's all.
What cookies can be delicious? Oh man. Hey.
Jeff, you couldn't see it, but I'm just giving you the stare there.
I have the Twitch.
Oh man, the stare
The
there.
Twitch. I sound like I'm 90. The Twitch.
The Twitches.
Twitches, the Twitters.
I got a bad case of the twitches.
You kids with your tweetings and your Facebookings and your book facings,
It's about hokum and flimflammery.
right?
Now get off my lawn.
Oh, a bunch of hogwash. Get out of there with that flim flam.
So now Jeff is the youngest one here, so you're still a teenager, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
Wednesday I
kid.
turned 20 though.
Ooh.
Oh, big man. Put on
Yeah.
your big boy pants.
And then
Yeah.
Kirby will be the only teenager here, and we'll have to make fun of him.
Am I the only one who thinks it's awesome that there's a guy named Kirby working on a video game site?
I think it's
It's
awesome.
surprising he doesn't play the game Kirby.
Well, I might have to make. I might have to change
If
that.
my name were Kirby, I wouldn't either. Honestly.
Yeah, that's not really
like,
that surprising.
Yeah.
Well, he
It's
got
like I
tortured.
grew up with the name Joe in a time when G.I. Joe was super popular. It was not fun.
Gee.
I grew up with
I think-
last name Powers in a time about Austin Powers.
That would be a problem too.
Yeah.
I have a friend with the name Powers from high school, but completely different state. So
No,
I grew up at a time where Jeff really didn't mean anything.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah?
Which will always
got-
mean something.
Right, but your last name is Wheaton, so
Yeah, you got Will Wheaton and Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, like,
Yeah, but see, he didn't really grow up in the TNG time. He grew up after that, so he grew up in the time where everyone hated him for everything else that he did.
Yeah.
I had a boss in Japan who called me Ryan Seacrest all the time.
Ooh, that's a little
weird.
So there's that.
I have no stories about my name to share.
I mean,
Well, that's-
you and Joe share the same name, and you're not even related. What's up with that?
I know
What's
that's
up with
crazy.
that?
I married into mine though.
Huh.
Maybe him and
No, no.
maybe him and
That's
Eric.
it. That's it. Just, huh.
Yeah, I got nothing. That was... Tell better stories, Sarah.
My
Bag of the
bad.
finger. Bag of the...
um,
I'm ruining the podcast.
no,
No,
say
trust
that-
me, I did that a long time
I can
ago.
say that
Lewis
Sarah
is-
made these awesome coasters that I have.
Hell yeah, I did.
She made these cool little.
Oh, neat. Did you break it? Did you break the coast? Oh, no, okay. Oh, okay, I see.
There's the 4 of them. I think there's like 6, and I'm missing 2 of them.
Good job.
No, there's 6, and I'm missing 1 because it's on my table.
Good job.
Yeah, Lewis is the nice thing about my name is it's fairly Google proof.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Like, you know, Joe Lewis, you're gonna find plenty of those. What if they were all me? That'd be like, I know.
Someone's looking right now.
Whoa! I just googled my name.
Gloomfall.
Have you never done that before?
No, I have. It's just that a new entry came up on IMDb.
He's yeah, like he's trying to play it well, so he's got like Google alerts set up. He's all like, "Ooh, something new for me." About
Apparently, I am a camera operator on Hobo with a Shotgun.
Well, that's
there
pretty
you
cool.
go. There you go. That is pretty cool.
Unfortunately, my name is pretty unique, so
That is unfortunate. Stop being original, Kaylei.
It also appears I am holding bananas. I play guitar. I have 2 kids and a convict.
Your life's pretty
wait,
much
you have
set.
2 kids and a convict, as in you own a convict, or you are a convict?
I am a convict in 2
Or is one
states
of your
apparently.
kids a convict. 2 states. Wow, you overachiever, you.
He's
And
living
apparently I'm
GTA
also
in real life.
Man, and I'm Clue.
Well, I say
Having
this
a-
has been a pretty good first podcast.
Yeah?
I'd say this is a good point.
So
for
Jeff is
talking about Jeff's
the
names googling themselves.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good stopping point.
Yeah.
Jeff is the Trevor of Gamefixt.
I'll be alright with that, yeah.
So, anyway, before we go, make sure you check out Gamefixt.com. This weekend, or hopefully before next weekend, we'll have a Diablo 3 review up,
We will.
a Rayman Legends review up, and a initial reaction experience with Final Fantasy 14.
It's gonna be big. It's huge. There's a lot of ground to cover.
I think he's trying to take the longest post award away from Joe Bongi, the other Joe. This is like a rivalry between Joe and Joe. So we got 2
Here's
Joes,
the only
we got
one.
2 Joes and 2 Lewises. So, and 2 Mikes. We got 2 Mikes as well.
I'm coming for both of them. I'm gonna kill them, eat and take their power.
There can only be one.
I don't
Oh,
know.
you're the Highlander.
Sarah is pretty. I don't think you can beat her, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm not averse to cheating, and I'm fairly treacherous.
I mean, just look at that stare. Just look at that stare. That's a pretty nasty stare she's got there.
I'm out for blood.
I'm yelling.
Okay. So yeah, this is a good stopping point. 15
Yeah.
minutes until
All
9
right, yeah.
p.m.
Be broken.
Alright.
Maybe next
Okay,
week we'll do just an
bye-bye.
hour. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for
Bye-bye.
Jeff's trying to kick us out early. Thanks for hanging out
Bye.
for our podcast. We'll see you again
Bye-bye.
maybe next week. Next week or the week after that. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Possibly. We'll figure it out.
I'm going to be on later on, probably in about 15-30 minutes, playing some more Ninja Gaiden and maybe something else. Maybe some Spelunky. So, I'll see you guys later. These 4 chumps, they can get out of here.
All right.
See you guys.
Internet.
Bye.
Later.